Joining us again, Washington Bureau Chief, Dr. Jerome Corsi. Where to start here?
Well, we can start almost anywhere, Alex. I mean, I think it's clearly now a war. I mean, I don't have any doubt that we're in a war, and InfoWars is exactly the right title for it. You see a massive effort by the mainstream media right now to delegitimate Trump, and you see a massive effort even within the White House to subvert Trump, as well as in the bureaucracy. And I've said for some time, Trump is going to have to do a massive cleaning, not only with the State Department, the CIA, but the entire intelligence apparatus. Going to have to clean out the White House. Anyone who's worked for Obama is suspect. And I think that's the fundamental idea that's going to have to be conveyed. And it's going to be a constant war with the mainstream media. I don't see it stopping.
We'll take this senior, quote, advisor who went to a private globalist meeting and badmouthed the president. The president learned about him and then demoted him back to his previous position. What is wrong with these people? White House confirms advisor resigning after disagreeing with Trump. No, what he did was backstab the president at a private closed-door meeting with other people in the government. A senior National Security Council advisor has resigned his old job at the National Defense University. A White House spokesman confirmed Sunday after he criticized the Trump administration's Latin American policies. Trump's administration. Trump promises, again, hit Washington reality in the first month. Craig Deere was removed from his role as a senior advisor to the National Security Council's Western Hemisphere Division Friday and sent back to his original position because he's unloyal, not because he criticized. He's in there in these meetings basically fomenting a strategy against the president.
And they think it's clever. I mean, this is the problem, is that the mainstream media will applaud every one of these unfaithful, dishonest officials within the Obama administration that's lasted and kept on in the Trump administration. And instead of being reassigned, this guy Deere should have been fired outright for insubordination. I mean, this is the undermining that's going on, and it's going on constantly within the bureaucracy. It's going on within the Republican Party in Congress, and you combine that with an unstopping media attack, a bombardment, a daily bombardment on Trump. And this is really where you've got to get control. The White House is going to have to get control over the press room, and it's going to have to get control over the media. And this fake news starts with the New York Times and the Washington Post, starts with NBC. I mean, we've seen NBC constantly having to fire anchors over false news. It's going on a consistent daily basis, and it's a war to undermine the legitimacy of the Trump administration. We've got to face it. The left and the Obama leftovers, the press, really think they can destroy Trump and remove him from office. Some are so delusional to think they could put Hillary Clinton into office. They have no respect for the Constitution, and it's outright war right now. And the attacks are getting intensified. I mean, take a look at the New York Times hit piece that's out on InfoWars today. A completely dishonest piece. It, mentions in the article in passing that InfoWars has never had as large an audience as we currently have. There's more people today listening to Alex Jones than ever. And this is what the mainstream media can't stand. It can't stand the fact that, Trump and the message of America is still alive, and all the efforts of the globalists, all the efforts of the New World Order, the Bill Gateses, the Soroses, the whole bunch of them combined with all their money, have not been able to shut up InfoWars. And the next step, if they could do it, if Hillary had been elected, would have been outright censorship. You can bet on it. Well, I mean, first of all, you've got to understand that the left is losing. The left is losing badly. And if Obama has his way with this OFA and they continue to disrupt town hall meetings, all that's going to happen is that the left becomes marginalized. So the Democratic Party is a European Democratic Socialist Party, and the only ones they're going to be talking to is themselves. I mean, if Obama thinks that he's going to be able to persist in Washington as a critic of the administration, you better watch out, because he didn't pardon himself. He didn't pardon Hillary and Bill Clinton. The Clinton Foundation is still operative. There's a lot of information coming out. I'm going to publish, as soon as we get it written up, much more about Podesta and Hillary taking money from the Russians. The ties are with Russia and have been money ties to Podesta and Hillary. And what the Democrats are doing is trying to blame this on the Republicans. It's not working. The country is, except for LA, except for radical leftist socialists who are becoming increasingly street thugs, the country is not paying attention and the Democrats are losing. Yet they'll persist on the agenda, and they've got the attention of the mainstream media, which I think basically is going to become marginalized as well. I mean, Trump is not going to lose this battle. He has to. He'll mobilize capital and start buying some of the mainstream media and shutting it down. Well, I mean, this again, I mean, the mainstream media thinks if they invent something and play it on a network or on, HBO or whatever, that it becomes reality. I mean, Madam Secretary, the whole show was an attempt to desensitize everyone to a woman being president. They think they can affect the Americans by putting out these memes and these narratives. The truth is, the American people are smarter than that. They see through it. It's why they're turning off television. They're not watching television. They're not reading the New York Times. The New York Times doesn't, the Washington Post doesn't own its own building. I mean, these companies are bankrupt and they're going to be more bankrupt because people aren't listening to their lies. And that's what's got to be exposed. And we're doing it every day. The mainstream media hates it. They want to demonize InfoWars. And that's why they constantly are, feeling trapped, feeling like they're losing, and they're becoming desperate.
What do you think they're going to pull next?
Well, I think if they could, what they were going to do with Hillary Clinton is that they were going to basically run this fake news narrative, and they were going to censor or take off shows like InfoWars. They were going to ban it altogether. They were going to, put mainstream media propaganda in, like Pravda in the Soviet Union. The left is intolerant. They play games. I mean, there's games they're playing with, press credentials. I mean, I've applied for the press credentials, but they say, oh, it's not on official Alex Jones InfoWars stationery. And so the news agency's got to request them. Well, okay, we'll follow their rules. We'll send in an InfoWars request and let's see what they do. There's no legitimate reason why they can deny press credentials. And when it comes to President Trump's attention, he'll put an end to it. But this is, again, part of the subversion from within. The President Trump is not in control of the White House as long as there are Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama leftovers in positions of authority. And you've got the White House Correspondents Association that continues to want to have the same people in the front row. So every day they can bombard the president and his press secretary with negative questions to lower the poll ratings. And you'll see organizations come out increasingly and say, oh, the poll numbers are going down. But again, these are just as dishonest as the polls that were in the election saying, well, no, I think Donald Trump's on the right track. And I think he's going to push through Congress a tax cut, a massive tax cut. I think he's going to push through the repeal of Obamacare. It's going to be resisted. You're going to have press saying, oh, the White House is in disarray. You're going to have John McCain, who's just a loser. He couldn't beat Barack Obama in 2008. Total loser, is hitting the president over, this is what dictators do. It's all nonsense. The people here, President Trump, they heard him directly when he goes out and speaks in rallies. The popularity's never been as high as it is today. And if you believe the polls, it's just like during the election campaign. The polls showed that Trump was going to lose big. Hillary quit campaigning. She was so confident. The polls are skewed. The news is fake. The media is contrived. And it's a war because they want to win and they want to block out any effort to tell the truth.
Thanks for popping in with us. Dr. Jerome Corsi with InfoWars, setting up our operations there in D.C. Thank you so much for all the analysis. We'll talk to you again.